Hello all, welcome back to IGNOU MBA. Today we're going to discuss the paper of MMPM-005 of June 2023, that is Marketing of Services. Okay, so let's see the questions one by one. Like we know, the previous year question papers are really very important for IGNOU examination. So please watch all the answers because it's going to be really helpful for your exam. Okay, so let's see the first question. Why do consumers of services perceive higher levels of risk associated with their purchases? Also discuss with the help of examples. Now let's see the question. The question answer is given here. So the buying process for services, it's typically different from those like we buy manufactured goods or things like that. The buying process for services is really different because many service characteristics like intangibility or inseparability, these result in the way consumers identify their consumption needs. So they need to be evaluated, what should be the alternatives and how can we manage the risk of service purchases. Okay, so consumers of services, they often perceive higher level of risk associated with their purchase compared to the manufactured goods or other kinds of goods, because services have some kind of high level of risk. Why? Because one of the main reason is its intangibility property. As we know, services are intangible in nature. They cannot be seen, touched, or tried before purchase. So this intangibility makes it difficult for consumers to evaluate the quality and value of the service beforehand. For example, like we can say a person booking a vacation package online, he cannot physically experience the hotel or the food or the sites before the arrival, right? So this can lead to a higher risk about whether the service will meet the expectations. Yeah, so that's because of the intangibility of the service. Then we can say the next one is inseparability. Services are often produced and consumed simultaneously, meaning that the service cannot be separated from its provider. So this makes it difficult to assess the quality of the service in advance. For example, we can say like a haircut is a service where the outcome depends heavily on the skill of the hairstylist, right? And once the consumers cannot judge the quality until the haircut is finished, right? So we can say that it's inseparable. The services is produced and consumed it's simultaneously. So meaning the service, it cannot be separated from its provider. Now the next feature is variability. The quality of service can vary significantly depending on who provides them, when and how. So this inconsistency introduces a really higher risk because consumers cannot be sure that they will receive the same quality every time, right? Because for example, when we go out for to have dinner in any restaurant or something like that, sometimes they may offer a different experience, right, based on the chef on duty. Maybe it's not the same chef who was preparing food last time. Maybe he has resigned, or some other person is in charge of duty on that day. So, or the mood of the staff, all these things can result in the output, the taste of the food may differ, right? So that is the variability. So the inconsistency, this inconsistency make a higher risk because consumers are not sure that they will receive the same quality every time. And then comes the perishability. Services cannot be stored or returned once consumed, right? For manufactured goods or products, we can store it, right? But in case of services, we cannot store them. They are perishable. If the service experience is unsatisfactory, it cannot be returned or undone, and the money spent is often non-refundable. We cannot say to service providers like, we didn't like your services, so we need the money back since it was not satisfactory. We cannot say like that, because services, once it's done, it's non-refundable, so it's really perishable, right? For example, an unsatisfactory performance at a live concert, it cannot be replaced or returned, and the ticket cost is lost, right? And then we can say the other risk is higher involvement and customization. As we know, many services require a higher level of involvement from the consumer, and often they are customized according to the individual needs. So this can increase the perceived risk as the outcome depends heavily on the interaction and understanding between the service provider and the consumer. For example, we can say consulting services involve personalized advice tailored to specific business needs. If the consultant fails to understand the business properly, the advice may be ineffective or even detrimental. So that's why customization can bring, a higher level of risk in services. Then comes lack of standardization. Unlike products that can be standardized, we know all the goods and products, they are standardized, right? But in case of services, they lack uniform standards, and that makes it really difficult for consumers to predict what they will receive. So for example, healthcare services vary widely between different providers, facilities, and the practitioners. So a patient he cannot be sure of the treatment quality without the prior experience or extensive research. That's because of the lack of standardization in the service provider. Next reason is dependency on trust and credibility. Consumers must often rely on the reputation and credibility of the service provider due to the difficulty of evaluating the service in advance. For example, we can say like legal services that require a higher level of trust in the lawyer's expertise and integrity. So client may feel at times risk or not sure about the lawyer's competence or ethical standards. Yeah. And then how we can mitigate this risk? How can we, take precautions or mitigate, make the level of risk less? How can we make it? Let's see. We can provide guarantees and warranties. The service providers, they can provide guarantees and warranties for the services, and this can mitigate the risk associated with their services. Also, they can provide free trials or demonstrations, which allows consumers to try a portion of the service for free, and that can help the consumer the understand the suitability of the service. Also, building a strong brand. A reputable brand can instill confidence in consumers by signaling reliability and consistent quality. And then we can say a service provider, they should, their communication should be clear and transparent, and which will provide detailed information about the service process, outcomes, and if any contingencies can help reduce uncertainty. So this way, our risk can be mitigated. And testimonials and reviews. Nowadays, we know that in social media, we get so much of reviews about anything, right? Like whenever we buy any product, we look for reviews of that product, whether it have a higher or good reviews or bad reviews regarding the product. So similar way, positive feedback from other consumers can serve as social proof, reducing the perceived risk by showing that others have had satisfactory experiences. So by understanding and addressing these factors, service providers, they can elevate consumers' fears and enhance the overall service experience. Next, let's look into the second question. What are basic differences between pricing of goods and services? So now let's see. I've given the the differences between the pricing of goods and services in a tabular form because it's easy to understand and study, right? And so let's see what are the difference between the pricing of goods and services. The first and the foremost thing is tangibility. We know that tangible products that can be seen and touched are goods, while services are intangible experiences or performances. When talking about the cost structure, the goods are primarily based on production materials and overhead, whereas services are based on time, expertise, and the value of the service. Then when we talk about the perishability, we know goods can often be stored and inventory, right? But services are perishable and they cannot be stored like that of goods. And when talking about the variability, standardized with consistent quality, products are mostly they are standardized. But in case of services, they are not standardized because they are greatly depending on the provider. The quality can vary greatly. Then when we talk about inseparability, production and consumption are separate process in goods or products. But in case of services, production and consumptions are taking place simultaneously, right? At the same time. Then we can say about the returnability can often be returned or exchanged. We can return or exchange the products that we buy. But in case of services, we cannot return the service back once consumed. And customization, often mass produced with limited customization. Products or goods are limited customized, but in case of services, they are highly customizable according to the individual needs and wants. Then pricing factors, material cost, manufacturing cost, and market demand. These are the pricing factors in goods or products. In case of services, the pricing factors are time, expertise, labor cost, and perceived value. When we talk about the price flexibility, more price flexibility due to tangible cost structure is in the case of product. But in the case of services, it's less flexibility as costs are tied to labor and expertise. And then when we just think about the customer perception, in case of product, it's easier to compare prices due to tangibility. But in case of services, it's not that easy like how we can compare the price in product. It's really harder to compare price of services because more dependent on reputation and experience. So this table outlines the key difference between the pricing strategies and consideration for goods and services. Okay, so now let's look into the next question. For example, we can say consulting services involve personalized advice tailored to specific business needs. If the consultant fails to understand the business properly, the advice may be ineffective or even detrimental. So that's why customization can bring, a higher level of risk in services. Then comes lack of standardization. Unlike products that can be standardized, we know all the goods. These characteristics of services influence their pricing. Discuss taking each characteristic one by one. Now let's see, does the characteristic of services, it really influence the pricing? Yes, of course, the characteristic of services, they significantly influence their pricing. Let's see each characteristic. What are the characteristics that impact the pricing of the services? The first and the foremost thing is always intangibility. When we talk about services, it's the intangibility. It really have impact on pricing. Since services cannot be seen, touched, or sampled before purchase, customers often rely on brand reputation, right? or the reviews, or the brand reputation helps us to helps us to confirm like the service is good or not. So service providers might invest more in marketing and branding to build trust, which can increase overall cost and thus influence pricing, because services, we cannot trust service providers. So what they will do to bring about the confidence in the consumers, they will do marketing and advertisement, and this may cost really high cost in providing the services. For example, a prestigious law firm, they can charge higher fees due to its strong reputation. Okay. Next one is inseparability. Services are produced and consumed simultaneously, as we discussed before. So meaning the presence and interaction of the service provider with the customer is very crucial. And so this can lead to higher labor cost, and so the price can increase, right? So for example, a personal trainer charges higher fees compared to a gym membership because their direct involvement and real-time guidance, it adds significant value to the service. Let's see about the variability. Does variability impact on pricing? Yes, variability also have some impact on pricing. The quality of services can vary based on who provides them, when, and how they provide it, right? So, for example, a hotel might charge higher rates due to consistent high quality service ensured by the staff training programs and the standard operating procedures. Next, the point is perishability. Even perishability has some impact on pricing of the services. Since services cannot be stored for future use, yeah, there is potential revenue loss if not sold when available. So this often results in dynamic pricing strategies to manage demand and maximize revenue. For example, airlines and hotels frequently use dynamic pricing. They offer lower prices for early bookings. We know, right? When we book for train tickets or flight tickets, for early bookings they give lower price and higher price during peak hours, like for a season like Christmas or Diwali. Those seasons, the tickets are of higher prices. So to ensure maximum occupancy and revenue, there is this kind of because of the perishability nature of services, these kind of actions have been taken by the service providers. Next one is customization. So customization also has some impact on the pricing of services. Services can be highly customized to meet individual customer needs, which can increase the time and effort required to deliver the service, right? For example, a tailoring service, they charge more than of the rack clothing because it involves individualized fitting and custom designs, as it takes more time to meet the specific preferences of the consumer. So customization also result or have some impact on the pricing of the services. Then comes the lack of standardization. Like we know, the services are not standardized like that of products. Unlike goods, services are not standardized, and hence there are some complexity and expertise required for each specific instance. For example, consulting services vary widely in pricing depending on the scope, industry, and expertise required. Then we can say about the dependency on trust and credibility. Even the trust or the credibility of the service provider have some impact on the pricing of the service. Customers often base their purchasing decision on the trust and credibility of the service provider. For example, a renowned heart surgeon or a famous doctor may charge significantly higher fees when compared to a less experienced surgeon due to the high level of trust and confidence patients place in their expertise. So yes, even dependency on trust and credibility is one of the main factor of impact on pricing. So each of these characteristics influence the way services are priced, requiring service providers to carefully consider factors like reputation, quality control, customization, demand management, and so on. Next question, let's see. Why do consumers switch service providers? What can you do as a marketer to prevent the customers from switching? Explain by taking an example. Yeah, now let's see the next question. So, yeah, we consumers switch service providers, right? When we don't feel satisfied with one service, what we do, we just switch to other service provider, right? There are many reasons for this. So here they have asked us why consumers switch service providers. Also, if you are a marketer, how can you prevent the customers from switching it? And give an example about the same. Now let's see. Consumers switch service providers for various reasons. That can include dissatisfaction with the service quality, or better offers from the competitors, or poor customer service, or lack of personalization. So all these reasons, there are so many reasons that leads to switching of service providers. So as a marketer, preventing customer requires a strategic approach that addresses these factors. Now let's see what are the reasons for switching service providers. First thing is the dissatisfaction with the service quality. Poor service quality or inconsistency and unmet expectation can drive customers to seek better alternatives. Also better offers from competitors. Like we know, there are so much competition in today's world. So attractive promotions or lower prices of other competitors, consumers may tend to buy the service from other people because they are providing the same service in a lower cost, or they are giving more features, right? So there are better offers from competitors, which also can be a reason for switching service provider. Changes in personal needs. As customers' needs and preferences evolve, they may find that current service provider no longer meets their requirements. And then comes lack of engagement and personalization. If customers feel undervalued or that the service is not tailored to their need, they may tend to switch the provider. Poor customer service. And one of the most important factors is poor customer service. Unresponsive customer support can frustrate the customers, making them to switch providers. And then comes the technological advances. As we have seen so much of advancement in the technology in today's world, features are new features are always updating in today's world, right? So this can make existing service outdated, and people tend to switch their service providers. Now let's see the strategies to prevent customer switching. If you were a marketer, what would you do? You can enhance the service quality, right? The first thing you can do is to improve the service quality. Consistently deliver high quality services to meet and exceed customer expectation. You should regularly gather feedback and make improvements in your services. Then loyalty programs. You can implement loyalty programs that reward long-term customers with discounts or exclusive offers or early access to new features. Then comes, personalization. Use customer data to personalize interactions and tailor services to individual needs and preferences. Excellent customer service. If you provide excellent customer service, the consumers or the customer, they remain in your services. They will feel satisfied, right? So you have to train the staff to handle the inquiries and complaints efficiently. Then regular engagement, keeping the customer regularly engaged through communication, updates, and special offer can also helps the consumer to stay in the same service. Then comes the competitive pricing and offers. Monitor competitors' pricing and offers, and your services are competitively priced. Offer value-added services or bundle deals to provide more value. For example, mobile phone service provider. Here is a scenario given. A customer is considering switching from provider A to provider B. Why? The reason can be their frequent network issue or the poor customer service experience. So what strategies can be implemented, to reduce these problems? You can upgrade the network, right? Or you can bring loyalty program, or else you can enhance the customer service, or you can bring about the personalization and transparent pricing. All these strategies can help to make the customer or the consumer to, preventing them from switching to other service providers. So just go through it's just an example given. So you can just go through the points, and then you can make an example by yourself regarding any other service, okay? So by addressing the root cause of customer dissatisfaction and enhancing the service quality, provider A can reduce the likelihood of customers switching to competitors. Now let's see the next question. Next one is a write short note on cycle of failure. Is there in our text? All these notes are there in our text. You can just go through our text, all the 4 blocks. In every blocks, there are some topics which are of important, and by going through just the question papers, you can get good marks in your examination. That is enough. If you solve at least 2 question papers of the previous year, you can get good score in your examination. So now let's see what write a short note about cycle of failure. So what is cycle of failure? It refers to a condition in a service organization where employee turnover is high and morale is low owing to unsatisfactory pay, inefficiencies in workplace, and job design. So it is known as a cycle because managers in this organization, they do nothing proactive to change the issue. So this leads to recurrence of the problem with new employees. So that is why it is called the cycle of failure. So service organization, they can however break out from the cycle of failure by adopting different strategies, which is known as cycle of success. Now let's see what is this. The improvement of internal customer level of satisfaction through various measurements and initiatives. It is called cycle of success. So to break the cycle of failure, organization, they can implement certain strategies. It is improved working condition. So improved working condition enhance the job satisfaction of the employees, by providing fair wages or wages on time and providing the benefits of positive work environment. Then invest in training. You can offer a good training programs to equip your employees with the necessary skills and knowledge. And then what you can do, you can foster employee engagement by encouraging the employees to participate or feedback to create a sense of ownership and commitment. Then comes focus on service quality. Implement quality control measure and reward high performance to maintain service standards. Enhance customer experience. Prioritize customer satisfaction by addressing complaints promptly and improving service processes. So by addressing these areas, organization they can transform the cycle of failure into a cycle of success. So the next short note is quasi-retailing. What is quasi-retailing? It refers to a business model that combines elements of both retailing as well as wholesaling. So quasi-retailing involves businesses that operate in a manner similar to retailing, but typically they do not own the goods or services that they sell. Instead, they act as intermediaries between the producers or wholesalers and the consumer. So that's why it is called quasi-retailing. So quasi-retailers, they often buy goods from the wholesalers or directly from the manufacturers in a bulk quantity. And then what they do, they just sell those goods to consumers in smaller quantities. So ultimately, they bridge the gap between the producers and the end users without taking the ownership of the goods. So where all we can see this quasi-retail outlets? Yeah, in hairdressers, travel agents, car hire agencies, restaurants, hotels, driving schools, all these are quasi-retail outlets. So they focus on distribution, marketing and sales rather than production. They may offer a range of products sourced from various suppliers. So often operate with lower profit margin compared to traditional retailers. Okay, because they act as an intermediary, right? So they will tend to operate with lower profit margins. Now let's see the third short note, customer relationship management, that is CRM. What is it? With the introduction of technology, as we know today, technology has reached so much of advancement, and the far-reaching impact of this technological advancement in general and IT-enabled services, the interface of service delivery has changed radically. Many services are delivered via internet-based platforms, mobile apps, and SSTs. So the innumerable benefits of this technology compel marketers faced with the newer challenge of service process. Okay, so that is why customer relationship management enables service providers to provide a unified customer interface that allows for customization and personalization. So CRM system collect customer data from various channels such as the company's website, the live chat or the direct mail or other communication channels. And then what they do and concerns to customers throughout the customer life cycle in order to provide better and faster customer service. So the purpose is to strengthen customer service relationship, aid in customer retention, and increase sales. So benefits of CRM, we can say like access to a customer's previous purchases. With the help of the CRM system, it helps us to identify the previous purchases the customer has made. Also, it helps to identify the trends in the market, or the repetitive customer support tasks can be automated. Analysis of customer data can help services firm identify trends and insights about the customer through reporting and visualization features. So all these are possible with the help of this CRM. Now let's see 5 dimensions of service quality. What are the 5 dimensions of service quality? Yes, they are. Let's see. The first one is reliability. Refers to the ability of the service provider to perform the promise. Service dependability. For example, if a reliable courier service ensures package arrive on time without any damage. So that is one of the first dimension of service quality. And then is assurance. Involves the knowledge, competence, and courtesy of employees. Also, customers need to feel assured about the service the provider is providing, right? So, for example, a financial advisor who demonstrates expertise and professionalism builds assurance with clients. Then we can say tangibles. Relates to the physical facilities, equipments, personal and communication materials. For example, cleanliness and modern equipment in a hospital contribute to perceptions of high quality healthcare. When we are in the hospital, when we look at the materials or the equipments over there and the cleanliness over there, we feel like there is a high quality, that there is high quality services that they are providing, right? So tangible is one of the main dimension of service quality. Then comes the empathy. It refers to the provider's ability to offer caring, individualized attention to customer. For example, a luxury hotel, they meet guest preferences, provide a higher level of empathy. Then comes responsiveness. That's the 5th dimension of service quality. It involves the willingness and readiness of employees to provide prompt service and assistance. For example, a responsive customer support team, they resolves issues promptly and courteously. So these dimensions collectively help service provider measure, manage, and improve the quality of their services. Next one in our is section B. It's a long question. In this question, it is talking about the things like the influence. What are influences? What are the three main type of influences? On influence, others influence, and outer influence. So mainly this question is about influences. And here, after reading through this paragraph, they are asking us, why are social media such as YouTube and blogs so important in the marketing of services? That is for 20 marks. We know that in today's world, social medias like YouTube and blogs play an important role in marketing of services, right? So they are asking us for the reasons. We can say like reach and accessibility. Yeah, because so global audience, it reaches the globally, right? YouTube and blogs, we can sit in anywhere in the world and we can have access over the resources, right? So these platforms have vast user base worldwide, allowing service providers to reach a large and diverse audience. And then we can say about the visual and engaging content. Visual appeal. YouTube allows service providers to showcase their offerings through videos which can visually demonstrate the benefits. Then let's talk about the building trust and credibility. Through informative videos and well-written blog posts, service providers, they can establish themselves as experts in their field. Then two-way communication and engagement. Yeah, in YouTube we know like there is a two-way communication, like because we can communicate to the YouTube providers like through comment or likes and all those ways, yeah, by direct messages and all. So customers can provide feedback and reviews publicly. And it's cost-effective marketing strategy. Comparatively, it's lower cost than that of a traditional advertising, right? So the next short note is quasi-retailing. What is quasi-retailing? It refers to a business model that combines elements of both retailing as well as wholesaling. So quasi-retailing. Now, for example, let's see an example of a case study: fitness training service. For example, in YouTube, a fitness trainer uploads workout tutorials, nutrition tips, and client success stories on the YouTube channel. So this content not only educates viewers, but also showcases the trainer's expertise and the effectiveness of their training services. And then blog. The same fitness trainer maintains a blog where they write the articles on fitness trends, health benefits, and personal anecdotes. So each post includes a call to action to book a consultation or join a training program. So this drives traffic to their service offering. So these platforms allow the trainers to reach a global audience interested in fitness, build trust through the valuable content, engage with potential clients directly, and leverage testimonials to attract new customers. Now the last question is, what are some of the challenges in service communication and how do you overcome them? So let's see what are the challenges in service communication and how can we overcome them. So one of the main challenges is intangibility of service. Since services are intangible and abstract, it makes it difficult to effectively communicate the features and benefits to customers. So what strategy we can take in order to reduce this challenge? You can make visual aids to represent the service experience. For example, videos, case studies, testimonials can help illustrate the service's value and outcomes. Then is the complexity of service offerings. Services can be complex, involving multiple processes, options, and variations, which can confuse customers during communication. So what strategy you can make is you can simplify the messaging or break down complex information into easily understandable segment. So you can use clear and jargon-free language and provide examples or demonstration to clarify how the service works. Then comes inconsistent service delivery. That's also one of the main challenge of service communication because it's inconsistent, right? So this can be, we can take action like establish and maintain service standards and protocols. We can train the employees thoroughly and service delivery procedures and customer interaction through, consistency. So regularly monitoring and evaluating the service performance, we can address any deviations promptly. Then managing customer expectation. Customers may have, high expectation about the service delivery. So this can lead to dissatisfaction if not managed effectively. So by, giving clear communication with customers, you can expect from the service, including timelines, deliverables, and potential outcomes. So manage the expectation through transparent communication about limitations, processes, and potential challenges. Next one, overcoming negative word of mouth. Negative word of mouth or online reviews can quickly undermine a service provider's reputation and credibility. So what's the strategy that you can take is you can actively monitor customer feedback channel and address any negative feedback promptly and constructively. And you can encourage satisfied customers to leave positive reviews. So this can counterbalance the negative perceptions. And then ensuring consistent brand messaging. Can ensure the service communication with the overall brand image and messaging can be challenging. So to develop and adhere to the brand guidelines that define the tone, style, and key messages, provide training and resources to frontline staff. So this can help to ensure the consistency in representing the brand in their interactions with the customers. Personalization at scale. Personalizing service communication to individual customer preferences and needs can be difficult. So to utilize customer data and analytics to segment customers based on preferences. So tailor communication message and offer accordingly to create a personalized experience. So this way you can say like overcoming challenges in service communication require a strategic approach that focuses on clarity, consistency, transparency, and customer centricity. Okay, so that's it. The end of our examination paper of June 2023. Hope it will be helpful to you. So please go through all the videos that I'm uploading in the coming days, because it's going to be really helpful in your examination. And by going through just through these videos, it will be, I'm sure that you will be passed in your examinations. Okay, so all the best for your examination, and do subscribe for more videos. Thank you.